Hi, everybody. It's Greg and Arun back with your NBA rundown here. We're going to cover all the games today. We have 9 games. I think only 8 have lines as we're recording this almost at 11 o'clock. The Heat game versus LA is still going on. But we're going to have all those other games for you. You'll probably even have a lean even without the line. Don't forget, if you want to get in on our top plays, you can use that 15% off code NBA 15. It's the last day of this code, so make sure you get on it. It's good on anything on the website. So you want our NBA, NHL, single place, everything. The only thing it's not good on is the 2-for-1 football pass. So the 2-for-1 football pass right here, DocSports.com/Craig Arun. It's already 50% off, so it will not work on that. But it'll work on everything else. So make sure you get in on it. Also, don't forget about, you want extra plays, or if you like parlays, you like props, go over to to the link here in the description. This is our YouTube premium levels. These are month prices. So if you get the level 3, you get all 3 of the levels, and you're getting all kinds of extra plays here at YouTube. That won't include our absolute top plays, but it'll get you about $2,700 worth of picks for $50 a month if you get the level 3. All right, let's get to it. I see we start us off in the NBA, Bucks and the Pacers. Pacers got off the snide last time out, beating the Warriors. Bucks have been pretty good, 4-2 on the year, 5-1 against the spread. Bucks favored by 6.5, total 235.5. What do you like here?
Well, I mean, Milwaukee is 4-2, and Indiana's 1-5 coming in. Keep in mind that Indiana beat this team the last 2 times they played them, so Milwaukee has a lot of revenge coming in. Milwaukee, lost to Sacramento as a 6.5-point favorite. That was a game where they were actually up big, Craig, 47-36. It's a good opportunity for Milwaukee to bounce back here. The only thing is, and keep in mind that Milwaukee has not lost back-to-back games all year. I like the fact that Milwaukee gave up 135 points in their last game. I think they'll give up less for sure. Indiana surprisingly beat Golden State outright. That was a game when I thought for sure Golden State would do pretty well, and they didn't. But of course, Siakam and company did better than expected, to be honest with you. And the reason why they did well is because they were able to hold this team to 109 points, right? They finally shaped up defensively. If you take a look at this total, it sits at 235.5. That seems a little bit high too. I think what happens here, when Indiana wins games this year, it's going to be to the under. Okay, because look at all the games that Indiana's played this year. They went under against Dallas, 105-107. They went under against Minnesota, 110-114. They went under against Golden State, 114-109. This is a different Indiana team, and when they do well, they typically go to the under. And I love the fact that Milwaukee comes off their worst defensive performance of the year, giving up 135. So I'm going to take the under 235.5 here between Milwaukee and Indiana. Craig, Minnesota comes in as a 9-point chalk here on the road against Brooklyn on a total of 229. Minnesota is 3-3. Brooklyn is winless. Of course, Minnesota is dealing with a couple of injuries right now, as you know. Anthony Edwards is still out. Who do you like here?
Oh, like last time he was out and they still took care of Charlotte, I was kind of surprised they did so well against Charlotte. I thought if they won, it would have to be with their defense. And their defense didn't play bad, but it's just Charlotte. They just allow a lot of points. Charlotte is not a defensive juggernaut, and that is the understatement of the century. But they do face a Nets team that, I like a couple of their pieces. I like Claxton. I like Cam Thomas. Like these guys, these are going to be good trade nuggets, I think, come here in the next couple of months as we get closer to the trade deadline. As the Nets just look like they're trying to do the whole Sixers thing where they continue to try to lose to gain draft picks. I hate this method in the NBA that we get to, but I don't like laying 9 points on the road, but I get it. But the Nets just are not a good team. And Minnesota does have pieces even without Edwards. I think you take Minnesota -9 here. I wouldn't run to this because laying double digits, I don't care who you are on the road in the NBA, is not a way that us handicappers make lots of money. But I just can't get behind the Nets.
Craig and I love doing videos for you every week. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get all of our videos every single time when you post it, so you get the best lines. As soon as we post it, people jump on it. So if you want to get it as soon as we post it, like and subscribe.
Jazz at the Celtics here. The Jazz are 4-2 against the spread. That is the positive. The negative is their defense is a little suspect. They do score points, but they're just 2-4 so far. Boston has been better than I expected. They battled back after that slow start. 3-4 in the year. Boston's favored by 10, total 232.5. Is Boston good enough to cover a double-digit spread?
Well, I'll tell you this. Utah comes off its worst 2-game stretch of the year, right? Losing to Phoenix 96-118, losing to Charlotte 103-126. So I love the fact that Utah comes off such bad losses in both games. Of course, they don't have Kessler, Collier, and Yang, But then again, in the last Utah game where they scored 103 points and they lost to Charlotte, which is a bad, bad loss, right? This is a team that only shot 22% from three-point land. I understand that Boston comes off of a bad loss to Houston, losing 101 to 128, and that could really motivate them to destroy somebody. I get that, but I got to be honest with you. This is a Jazz team that I think is going to hang tough. They come off their worst. I'm a sucker for points anyway. They come off their worst back-to-back losses of the year. Right now, the public consensus poll says 50% on Utah, but I don't believe that. I think more are going to jump on Boston eventually. I'm going to take the plus 10 here as Utah comes off their worst back-to-back stretch of losses. They have enough depth to hang tough here. I'm not taking anything away from Boston. Boston beat Philly and Cleveland and New Orleans, and they come off a horrible loss, and they very well could bounce back. But the fact that Utah put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys in the score sheet last game, I think Utah can hang tough. And losing to Charlotte is going to wake up anybody. I just think they were really cocky. Utah was after beating Phoenix. They beat the Clippers as well. They almost beat Portland when Portland was playing well. They had covered a bunch in a row, and now they've come off back-to-back losses. Give me the 10 points. I'm going to take the Jazz. Craig, Washington plus 11.5-point dog here against New York. Keep in mind that these two teams have not met this year. Washington is 1-5 out of the gates, coming off one of their worst losses, losing 94 to 125 to Orlando. New York coming off a big win, getting revenge against Chicago last night, 128 to 116. Who do you like here?
Yeah, the Knicks got a nice win, the revenge win against where they lost at Chicago. Then they, played a day later, a day and a half later, and they got the win yesterday in a back-to-back spot here. So what can you expect from a Knicks? The Knicks play a lot more players this year. Mike Brown is not Tom Thibodeau. That literally Tom Thibodeau is, he would put his horse in every race in the Breeders' Cup if he could. That's just the kind of guy he is. Like, hey, look, I got one guy. I might as well just put him out there every time. That's not how Mike Brown. He does spread the minutes out. So he's not going to. I think that'll pay off in this game. Now, can they cover this big a number? I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards the over here. In fact, I know I'm leaning towards the over. This is two teams that have been good on the over. Both of them have gone 4-2 to the overs so far. Yesterday, New York allowed 116. So how do they win? They outscore them 128 to 116. I think Washington will score some points this time, even though they're coming off a subpar offensive outing. I think they do it this time. Take the over 234.5 as the Knicks win, but give up a ton of points, in my opinion. Don't forget about that free $60 for new customers. Yes, you can get our absolute top plays for free if you're new. All you got to do is type into your URL, docsports.com/ICCT, as you see it on the screen. You'll get a free $60 to try us out. You can use it on anything on the website, including our top plays for the weekend. Good luck. Next game, Houston Rockets face Dallas, and obviously Anthony Davis. Have you heard this before? He's injured. He's on the what if with Anthony Davis? Houston Rockets minus 12.5 total, 226.5. Houston's been much better since that opening loss. They're 3-2 on the year, 4-1 against the spread. I see. Good for bettors. Do they continue?
Yeah, I mean, Houston comes off that huge win against Boston, Toronto, and Brooklyn. They did lose to Detroit and OKC, but that wasn't bad considering they lost by a total of 5 points in 2 games. Dallas, of course, coming off that ugly loss. Well, they lost by 12. They were actually in that game. They got outscored 17-35 in the fourth quarter, which is terrible because they lost by 12, Craig. So they actually were up by 6 going into the fourth quarter, and then they lost. Cooper Flagg, of course, went 3 for 14 from the field. And D'Angelo Russell is the one that was the saving grace. He went 10 for 17 for 31 points. I think what happens here, I'm trying to stay away from the total here, even though I think this game probably goes under the posted total, so keep that in mind. I just think it'll be a playoff-type atmosphere-type game. Dallas, of course, comes out giving up 122 points. Last time they gave up that many points was 129 in Toronto, and they gave up 101 points to Oklahoma City. Houston, of course, comes off of a great effort against Boston. I think they could have a little bit of an offensive letdown after scoring 128 against Boston. I do kind of like the under here, but for the side, I think I'm going to take Dallas here, man. I just think at the end of the day, I know Houston will get up to face Cooper Flagg, but Dallas was in that game against Detroit. They played really well in that game. This is a lot of points. This is a team I think can hang within the number. I will tell you this. The fact that it's at 226 really makes me lean towards the under as well. Houston's also played in 3 straight overs too. So I'm going to go with the under as my favorite here. But I also have a small lean that Dallas probably hangs tough here. But I like the under a little bit more. Craig, Detroit is a 4-point chalk on the road against Memphis. Detroit is 4-2. By the way, Memphis has won this game the last 9 times they've played. It dates back to 2022. Detroit coming off big wins against Dallas and Orlando. Again, Detroit is 4-2. They've won 4 out of the last 5. Memphis, of course, back-to-back losses to Toronto and the Lakers. Who do you like here? Do note that there are some issues with John Morant and their head coach right now, and but Morant is playing, but Memphis does not have Clark or Jerome yet still back. So who do you like here?
Yeah, John Morant coming off the suspension after calling out his coach in the post-game press conference. I mean, I said it a couple years ago when he had the first issue with the gun flashing on. I said, this is a problem when you have a leader of your team that doesn't understand that this is about playing basketball. It doesn't matter, unfortunately, when you get paid all that money, you're the leader no matter if you're off the court or on the court. And it doesn't matter if you're in the post-game press conference or you're getting ready to jump the ball. And he just hasn't got that yet. And it's just shown that maturity still hasn't happened. And it's affecting this team. They got to trade him. It's time for him to go. And I think that's going to continue until they get rid of him. This team's going to flounder. I like Detroit here. Detroit's won 4 of their last 5 games. I thought they'd be a little better to start the year. They were a little shaky started off, and Chicago's been hot. So losing Chicago at the time I thought was worse than it is. I think you take the point, or you lay the points here with Detroit until Memphis, the Morant thing gets figured out. I think you have to fade them. They weren't even great before that, by the way. This defense has been suspect, to say the least. Take Detroit. Next game, Kings and the Nuggets. And the Kings, I expected a little more of them. Obviously, they've been a little banged up, so maybe we can at least give them excuses, I see. They're facing a very good Denver team that they're better than their 3-2 record indicates. I think Denver is the top 4 team in the league right now, and I think they're going to show that here over the next couple of weeks. Denver's a big favorite here, minus 11.5, total 236.5. What do you like?
Yeah, Russ is homecoming here a little bit, back to Denver here, which is going to be pretty good. I thought, the Kings played a huge game and they beat Bucks on the road. Russ did go 4 for 14 from the field and 0 for 5 from three-point line, which is what we expect Russ to do. But regardless, the Kings were able to, with that, 3-headed monster of DeRozan, Sabonis, and Levine. By the way, Craig, those 3 guys put up close to, 94 points in their last game against the Bucks. 3 guys. DeRozan, Sabonis, and Levine, 94 points of their offense. And then you tack on Schroeder with 24. Just the wildest thing. So now Denver comes in, of course, losing that loss to Portland here, 107-109. But they beat New Orleans. They beat Minnesota by double digits. They beat Phoenix. I like the fact that Sacramento comes off its biggest win of the year. They just don't have any depth at all. I love Denver here. They lost by 2 points in the last game, in a game where they actually played pretty well. They shot 48% of the field. The only problem is they shot 24% from three-point land. That's what the difference was. Losing the Blazers is going to be horrible, not to mention the fact they were up in that game. They lost that game by 2 points, Craig, but they were up by 10 going into the fourth quarter. They're going to be pissed coming in. I'm going to back Denver here. The Lakers are a 3.5-point dog here at Portland. The line has come out. Portland, of course, beat them 122-108 earlier this year on October 27th. Injury-wise, you have Ayton, who's day-to-day. LeBron is still out, but, of course, Luka's back. And then you have a Portland team that, has won a couple games in a row, right? They beat Denver. They beat Utah. They beat Lakers. And yet they find them, they've won 3 in a row. Give them some credit here. But, of course, and Portland is actually favored by 3.5, which is the wildest thing. But the Lakers do have Luka back. Who do you like here?
Well, they just played, and Blazers won against it was on a back-to-back. The Lakers were on a back-to-back in that spot as well, if I remember. Maybe it was Portland in a back-to-back. But they did win 122-108 on October 27th. The Blazers also coming off a win. That Denver win was super impressive, 109-107 at home. I think this Blazers team, we've said it already this year, I think they're going to be a really good team at home. And the Chauncey Billups thing, I thought maybe might derail this team a little bit. Like young kids don't know, and I don't say kids, young players don't understand how to deal with distractions that much, but that has not bothered this team. They have been playing great basketball. I think you lay the points here. I wouldn't be surprised if Luka's limited or even sets out in this game. So I'd get in this game early, because if Luka goes out and they announce that, this line probably goes to 5, 4.5 to 5. So let's take Portland minus 3.5. Get on it early. Then the last game, the Heat are playing right now. They're losing, like we said, at halftime to those Lakers team. They're going to play the Clippers here. I'm sure the Clippers are going to be favored, probably very similar to what the Lakers were tonight, which that line, if I remember, was the Lakers favored by 5. So I would expect it to be in that range. What do you at least lean towards this one, I see?
I lean towards the Heat. Because, they're getting throttled by 14 against the Lakers right here. When you watch the Clippers game against the Pelicans, they were so bad, man. And the Clippers ended up winning that game by a bucket, and they were favored by 11. The Clippers just got beat by the Golden State Warriors by 19 points. They've lost 3 straight covers. I don't have a lot of faith in the Clippers. Yeah, I know Miami is going to come off. I'm going to like Miami coming off back-to-back losses. I thought they played great against the Spurs. They just fell short. They made a big comeback near the end there, but they just fell short at the end of the day. The only problem is they just don't really have a depth. They only have 7 guys that kind of score. But the Clippers, I just don't trust them. The Clippers are super sketchy. They come off a very shaky start against the Pelicans. You have Miami coming off probably back-to-back losses here. The Clippers coming off a win, but the Clippers haven't had back-to-back covers all year. And I'm going to back Miami here plus the points. I'm going to take them plus the 5.
All right, so that's what we have for today. Don't forget, if you want to get in on our top plays, you can use that 15% off promo code NBA15. So we have tons of individual plays daily, both NBA, NHL, props, all kinds of stuff. If you want in on that, this will work on anything else other than this 2-for-1. If the 2-for-1 is already marked down 50%, so you get both of our football plays for the week. That's a 4-unit play here on Monday Night Football tonight from my man IC, and you'll get both of our plays through all the way through next Monday Night Football game. So it's a glitch in the system that you get actually 8 days. So make sure you use that DocSports.com/Craig Arun to get that deal at $99. All right, guys, click on that YouTube Premium. We're going to have a special. We had a parlay yesterday, plus 3 plays at the Premium Plus level. Going to have a little parlay action throughout the week. So make sure you get in. You won't miss it. Just $49.99. Link is in the description. Good luck. See you again tomorrow.